The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man crawled out of the slime.
Scott, I'm really excited. I was talking to your boy Hawkins about music, and he has a tape player, and I just found a box of tapes that I forgot that I had, and there's some really awesome music in here that I'm excited to show him. So let him know I got it.
I think pretty much anything is going to be better than what he's got, especially if it's coming from Uncle Ren.
Dude, you got Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night on tape.
Already
Well,
better.
I also have some Thin Lizzy for your son. I have Sade, some Jimi Hendrix, some BB King. There's even, actually, he might like this, some Molly Hatchet. I don't know if you're familiar, but he likes the Doom soundtrack, so he might be into that. And then also Acid Wash. Maybe
nice.
He might not Wash. This. Yeah, this is my buddy Kirby. This is his old band.
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually insanely awesome.
That's a pretty badass name for a band. I'm not gonna lie. That's really impressive.
I know. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a rad cover.
I don't want to like destroy your child though, so I'll let you give it to him.
There you go. That way you could be responsible for his traumatization, or however you want to say it.
Hawkins is just walking around with a Kiss T-shirt like the next day. I'm like, Scott, like, I'm so sorry, dude. Oh my god.
Ren, now all I can think about is that scene from Eternal Sunshine after you ruined it.
Yeah, I thought of that.
Oh my god.
Kind of love that there's like 14-year-old girls wandering around with like Nirvana shirts unironically now. I'm like,
totally.
Wait, do you actually know what Nirvana is? Because if you do, like I'm down, but
yeah.
And then they do. I mean, Kurt Cobain is just genuinely good and stuff. So I appreciate when people are like rediscovering quote unquote old bands that are not old. But I'm old, so therefore they're
totally
old.
Like, to me, I'm like, props. At least you know who they are. And then the other half of me is like, wait, what do you mean? You didn't listen to them before, or like, how do you just discovered them? Like, I've always known who they are and their power. But yeah, props.
Just real quick. So I'm sounding good. I'm not glitchy. Everything's going good.
Your treble gain is a little bit higher than I'm used to, but. I mean, I prefer a nice compressed like bass. I like that sound. So, can you fix that? But don't do it now.
I did. Just in terms of movies we watched, I watched Oliver and Company last night.
Well, hold on. Are we going to talk about that or just do the drawing? Because I don't know what we have time to do or.
Oh, wait, sorry. So, Scott, did you watch the movie or not?
I watched the movie.
Okay.
Wait,
so
what?
are we doing the full episode? Because I'm ready to do the full episode.
Yeah, we're here to record.
What? I had no idea. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah,
Hell
let's do this thing.
Hell yeah. All right. Dude, I had no idea.
Your night just got so much better.
Yeah. Oh, man. Here we go. You pulled a fast one, Scott.
I did.
That was dirty. That was dirty, dude.
Hey.
Oh, no.
I gotta pull my weight somehow. If I'm not gonna edit the episodes or do art or marketing or anything, I might as well at least watch the freaking movie.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, I gotta collect my psyche, find my center.
Dude, do you need some LSD? You need a break? Like,
I'm
good?
He's like, whoa, I didn't smoke enough weed before this. I'm actually gonna do this episode sober. Watch.
That was an accident.
No, but anyways, in terms of movies we watched, didn't get a lot of extracurricular ones watched, but I did watch Oliver and Company last night with Jamie, and that movie is something else. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even say it's bad, but it's really interesting because sometimes you're watching it and like the first intro shot, you're like, dang, this looks so good. Like, this is amazing. And then like 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, okay. That budget was severely front loaded on that intro part. And then like, there's just like one or two scenes throughout that you're like, okay, they put a lot of work into this part for some reason, but everything else isn't all that incredible in terms of the animation. And then it's just really weird to like, what was at the very end I was watching? I was like, okay, hold on. So this homeless guy owes a bunch of money to this loan shark. This loan shark comes to collect and basically is trying to kill him with his Dobermans. He ends up kidnapping this little girl and then blackmailing her parents to get money. He ends up getting run over by a train. The little girl goes back home. The loan shark also called her father and told him like, hey, you need to get me money. You're not going to see your daughter ever again. Then the next scene is the little girl having her birthday and her parents are still not home. Like they're just nowhere to be seen. And you're just like, what is going on? This little girl is just like all by herself. I mean, she has her butler, but still. But yeah, no, it's an interesting movie. And I think it's definitely worth a watch. I don't think I'm like itching to watch it again anytime soon. But it's one of those like, whenever it pops up in conversation, I'm just like, so that's a good one.
Which was better? All Dogs Go to Heaven or Oliver and Company?
Or Oliver and Company? Nah, it's All Dogs Go to Heaven. They're both very strange films, but All Dogs Go to Heaven is just more entertaining. The characters are just more interesting. Honestly, that was the thing. The characters in Oliver and Company aren't all that incredible. Like they feel very like stereotypical characters. You're like, oh, there's the funny guy and there's the cool guy and there's the dumb one and there's the smart one and all that stuff. And in All Dogs Go to Heaven, it just felt like we actually had characters and there was just a little more meat on the bone to chew. There was more emotional moments, and Oliver and Company is kind of like one of those rides at Disneyland where you're just kind of going on a track and you're just looking at scenes as they go by and you're just like, oh, I remember that. Oh, that's a good scene in that movie.
I remember it. Yeah. Yeah. Just
yeah,
like,
that's how it is.
It's really bright colors, adorable eyeballs, and like a really creepy homeless guy and like a Don Bluth-y mouth, but not Don Bluth. Not Don Bluth.
It wasn't not Don Bluth.
Yeah.
I was very confused. I was watching it. I was like, his mouth is big, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. All I remember.
Strange.
So what you just described sounded like an anime. Is Oliver and Company an anime? Like big, adorable eyes, homeless guy. Like this is starting to sound weird.
But yeah, I watched that, and then I started watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is the new TV show set in the world of Game of Thrones, and it's awesome. I'm actually doing some reviews for the podcast. I believe we have episode 1 out right now, and I have the script for the second one written up and ready to go.
Dude,
so
it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's so good. I'm really, really excited to kind of be back in that world, and just like my nerd flag is just like, you know, flying and waving in the air just 24/7 now. It's really awesome.
Yeah. I watched The Mummy last night with my fam.
Oh, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me, Ren.
No, we had a great time. That movie is awesome.
Good. I love that movie.
It was awesome, really fun. And I woke up to the news this morning that Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz just confirmed that they're going to be in the fourth one, coming out in like 2034, basically.
What?
Yeah, probably.
Sounds so long from now,
dude.
But yeah.
You know, Rachel still looks really damn good. Just gonna say, I bet she's still gonna be that hottie.
You know who doesn't? Brendan Fraser. I miss Boy Next Door, Brendan Fraser.
Look,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a real dang good looking good in that movies, and yeah, age has definitely caught up with him, but he's still got a heart of gold. I think he can. I think he can pull it off.
Him and Val Kilmer. What happened? My highs.
What was it? My favorite scene from that movie, by the way, is when that sniveling guy named Benny, he's like watching the mummy guy like walk towards him, and he's pulling out all these different religious symbols and like trying to say a different prayer, and then he finally like lands on the Star of David, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I can use you.
Yep.
Like,
that was really, he's the funniest part of the movie.
He's so good in that movie. And then I think it's hilarious how at the end when he gets like trapped in that, like, you know, the vault of all of the gold and silver and everything, there's like this moment of like, oh, that sucks. And it's like, you kind of deserve it, but I still feel kind of bad.
Yeah. Claustrophobic nightmare. It was not cool.
Yeah.
What's really weird, so let's say his name, Kevin J. O'Connor. That's the actor who plays Benny. Most recent film I watched before The Mummy, we watched There Will Be Blood, and he's in that. I completely forgot that. I hadn't seen that since it came out. And he's the same character, just kind of toned down, but he's just, you said sniveling? He's a sniveler.
He is a sniveler.
He's sniveling garbage in that movie. And he's perfect for it.
Yeah, 100%. So perfect.
I could talk about a few more films, but honestly, I think we have a lot to talk about already. And what I thought going to do was do the lottery. So we got to do this also. So
let's go.
Okay,
let's do it.
Okay.
Let's get Scott's fresh take on it. It's very fresh.
Extremely fresh.
Scott, just so you know, I'm not. This is all fun and games, but I kind of want to put a tagline in our podcast description. We're like, and we always provide one person who just finished the movie.
Freshest take possible.
The freshest take possible.
The freshest of takes. Ren, you can read this intro, but you have to read it in 3 different time scales all at the same time.
Yeah. One's a little slow, one's a little mid, and then one's really fast.
Slow. Yeah, that's really funny. Trapped. Wait, is this the good one? I had 2 of them. Hold on. One of them was like really lame.
Shit, that's the bad one.
All right, this one's a little better.
The enemy tanks have stopped.
Why?
Why waste precious tanks when they can pick us off from the air like fish in a barrel?
There are 400,000 men on this beach.
Coming back round. He's coming back round! Where are we going? Dunkirk. I'm not going back. There's no hiding from this sun. We have a job to do. If we go there, we'll die.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
Who had this movie?
This one was mine.
This is a Ren.
yours.
This is such a Ren movie.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Because you only pick bangers. And me and Harrison trade off. Harrison will pick bangers, and then he'll pick crap movies, and me too. But Ren has too much pride to pick a crap movie.
See, the problem is, Scott, is when I pick crap movies, it's like, hey guys, I'm really sorry about that. When you pick crap movies, it's like, Scott, that was pretty sweet. It was so bad, but it was so sweet. I mean, come on, I brought you great things like Safety Not Guaranteed. Like,
This is true. Well, stick around to the end. You might be eating those words. We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so here's what it comes down to. It was just time to watch it again. That's really like where I landed on it. We've had a bit of discord in our film opinions in the past, with me and Scotty in particular. just my conflicted emotions with Christopher Nolan's films. And I feel really assured when I go online and I see other people think the same thing, because sometimes I think I'm crazy because I've seen so many of his movies in the movie theater. I'm so impressed. I get my mind blown. And then there's one little thing that just kind of drives me nuts about it. And it's hard for me to put my finger on it in some cases. So, anyways, I've seen all of his Batman films. I've seen Interstellar, Dunkirk. I love Memento. The Prestige is great. Slightly annoying. Insomnia is all right. And I have yet to see Tenet. Okay.
You're never going to watch that without us watching it, by the way.
Yeah, we got to put that on a list somewhere. But rewatching Dunkirk, or the proper way is Dunkirk, I learned. It reminded me of this thing as I like re-digested it. But I respect Nolan. Okay. Also, like, I wasn't really into Interstellar. I found the dialogue comically corny. Again, it's been too long since I've seen it. I didn't even mention Oppenheimer because I don't remember it. It was like Avatar. Like, it's just like a blur. It was really pretty, and then I forgot about it. I feel like you have a similar take on it, Scott. I don't know. What did you think of Oppenheimer, just real quick?
Yeah, I actually haven't finished Oppenheimer. I'm only halfway through it, and I found it to be, as a film, incredibly boring. As a documentary, not focusing on the interesting things. It's kind of this weird blend where it tries to be like a documentary biopic, but then chooses the parts that aren't actually interesting to show. But that said, I haven't finished it. I know why people like it and stuff like that. I don't know. I think, Ren, we're actually more aligned on Nolan than we've let on. He's really opinionated about the movies he makes. I just find it so infinitely fascinating how well he does it. It's like he chooses to do the thing that annoys the crap out of us. And he's like, no, I did that on purpose. And it's like, but why? But it's so good. If you just like, okay, ignore that thing. It's such a well-made movie.
Totally.
It's such a well-made movie.
100%. Yeah. I got to say too, like, watching this again, I know, like, it's always like, dude, you got to see Nolan in the theater, but dude, I had the Blu-ray 4K, the surround sound on, and I felt like I was in a war zone. So it can be replicated. So I don't feel like I'm missing out by not watching it again in a movie theater. I just wanted to throw that out there. But I'm curious, Harrison, what did you like? Was this your first time seeing this film?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen Dunkirk. I have seen Oppenheimer, and from what I remember of watching it, I was like, all right. Like, it was a good meal and I felt good afterwards, but I don't really feel an urge to watch it again. But in terms of this movie, this kind of goes along. It almost goes along with movies like Spartacus, where I'm watching and I was like, this feels so different. This almost doesn't feel like a movie. Like, I remember talking to you guys about Spartacus, where I was like, Spartacus feels like a play. It doesn't feel like a movie. And Dunkirk, it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels almost like a documentary almost. I wrote down my one line to describe this movie was the main character of the movie is the Dunkirk evacuation. There's not actually a main character in this movie or someone that I'm following and interested in seeing their character development and where they end up. I think the main focus of it is just the event of the evacuation. And I think that has some interesting implications because I feel like Nolan went into this trying to make a split between a documentary and an actual movie. And I feel like he kind of faltered on both of those parts because I don't know. It felt like there was this like push and pull to like, okay, I'm trying to like follow these characters and I feel like I'm supposed to care about them, but I really don't. But what's going on outside of the characters and the actual event that is occurring is really interesting and really cool. But I'm distracted by these characters that don't feel like characters to me. So I enjoyed this. I watched it a second time just before we came on. I mean, I was interested still, and I was still like glued to the screen because I feel like there's some just really, really incredible moments and very visceral moments where I was like, holy crap. Like, I feel like my chest is tightened up and I'm really insecure right now about what's going on. But yeah, overall, like, I think it's a really good movie. that I didn't enjoy that much. I think I
You
said
didn't enjoy
that.
it, man. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat for most of the movie, and we were talking a little bit earlier, but like to me, this felt like a trailer, but 3 hours long, and like it all felt like the third act
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
it was wild. It's a ride for sure.
I think maybe it was just because that this movie felt so different to me. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to, because I'm just so used to having a character to follow, someone to root for, a good guy, a bad guy, the sidekick, all that stuff. I felt like I'm just so used to movies with that, and watching a movie that doesn't really have that is really weird to me, because if I sit down and I watch like a documentary, like if I sit down and watch Planet Earth, I'm expecting that. And my brain kind of switches to quote unquote documentary mode, where it's like, all right, I'm watching this because it is entertaining, but it's informational. It's going to make me have questions and things like that. So when I sat down for this and I'm like, all right, I'm in movie mode. I'm excited to see what characters are going to be on screen and what's going to happen to them. And my brain just wouldn't like get out of that mode. I'm just sitting there like waiting to like, okay, why was Cillian Murphy floating out in the middle of the ocean? Okay, I'm sure we're going to figure out how he got there and why he's shell-shocked and what traumatized him. Oh, we don't really get to see that and understand exactly what happened to him. And so it was just really like gear grinding in my head for most of the film.
The time aspect of this, to you guys, does it feel like gimmicky or like, I don't want, let me just say something real quick.
Go.
This movie's freaking awesome. Like I love it. It's really, really cool. But this time thing, like a couple months back, Scott, I had you like define like what pretentiousness is. And for whatever reason, it feels like a jab at the viewer or something. Does this make any sense? Or
I have an opinion, man. It's good. I like your opinion.
Hey everybody, just popping in real quick. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would really help us out a lot. But either way, let's get back to the show.
I mean, so for me, in terms of like kind of the timeline thing, because the story is told in three separate not timelines, but three different focuses. So the hard thing about it is this: usually when I'm watching a movie that is telling a story out of time, or I can't remember what the word is, but not in an exact order, is I'm kind of waiting to have that snap moment where I go, oh my gosh, it makes sense. Or because I feel like, for example, like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, there's that moment where she says to Joel, meet me in Montauk. And that's kind of the snap moment where you realize like, oh my gosh, this wasn't in the story wasn't told in chronological order. And then it ripples back throughout the whole film. And in this one, when I had that moment of realizing like, oh, it's not told in chronological order, it was like, okay, I guess that's a fun fact about this film. And I think I know why it was done, but I'll get that in a second. But as I was watching this, and I just thought, I just don't really see a strong reason as to why he had to do it this way. The one thing I can say is it does kind of keep us in the moment, and we get to see the same event from different perspectives, which can be interesting. It means we're not hopping back and forth. Like, for example, there's the scene where the father and son are on their little boat, and they come across this bigger destroyer, I believe, and they get to watch the dogfight going up in the sky. They get to see the big destroyer get bombed and start sinking, and all the guys are in the water and the oil's all over the place. And then we get to see that perspective from the guy up in the plane. And the thing was, it was kind of nice to just stay in one person's perspective all the time. So that way we're not just like hopping up and down and, skipping from one scene to another, and you have to kind of keep track of it. But it still just felt really weird, because the click moments when you realize like, oh, I'm watching the same scene again, it was like, okay, I don't know why we had to do that though. Like, I don't know. It once again, that was kind of a grind gearing thing for me, was the timeline of this
interesting.
Film.
Yeah. I thought it was extremely impressive. Go ahead, Scott. If you enjoy watching our show on Spotify or YouTube and you want to be more involved, we encourage you to please come check out our Patreon community. Not only does our Patreon community get every episode you see on YouTube early, fully uncut, uncensored, and ad-free, but we're also doing Patreon exclusive episodes, as well as Q&As, video clips, and access to our entire film catalog. It's a lot of fun and a nice way to say thanks for the cost of a cup of coffee every month. Now, back to the show.
Oh yeah, I'm just I want to know your guys' perspectives. Okay, so I love this movie, which is kind of funny because when I first saw it, I didn't. This was the most unimpressive Nolan movie to me when I saw it originally. And I think for the same reasons that Harrison, you weren't impressed. I was expecting like The Dark Knight or something like that, you know. I was really expecting a really character-driven, very thematically present film, and this wasn't. This wasn't it. This was an experience of being on Dunkirk. Then there's the time scales, the three different time scales. The thing, Harrison, that you didn't say is that all three of the time scales, the mole is one entire week compressed into the length of the film, and then it's overlaid with an entire day from the boat people's perspective. Overlaid on top of that is the air dogfight stuff that only encompasses one entire hour. So if you were to play it all chronologically, you know, you wouldn't be able to tell those three stories. So like any Nolan film, I think what I want to say about Nolan is that I think he's doing it because it's interesting. That's the only reason. That's the only justification. Like, I've heard the argument against Nolan, and I agree. I just don't care too much because he's so good at the other stuff. The argument is that he doesn't make character-driven films, which is debatable. I think Batman is pretty character-driven.
Yeah.
That trilogy is pretty dang character-driven. By necessity, the whole story is about Batman being sad that his parents died. You know, like Tenet or even Oppenheimer's not that character driven. It's like character plot driven, event driven, or something like that. It's not about his growth per se. It's about the events that occurred around Oppenheimer, you know. In this movie, I 100% agree, Harrison. This movie is about the events of Dunkirk, but not as a documentary. But it is about the events of Dunkirk. And so how do you showcase that? You make kind of generic characters that you have an anchor to, but you don't really need them to grow because they're just part of the story and their purpose is to present the plot.
Yeah.
And a plot-driven story is very different than a character-driven story. Now, I think that there's always trade-offs. And I like to do the thought experiment of compared to what? You know, like, would Dunkirk have been better if it was portrayed like Saving Private Ryan, which is a very traditional, like, character-driven war story? Or would it have been better if it was done like 1917, which is a very character, event-driven war story? And I think the answer is it would have also been really good, but it would have told a different story.
Absolutely.
And this story is freaking bonkers because not only did he decide, like, once you decide I'm going to showcase the world and the events and do justice to the event of Dunkirk and the rescue of Dunkirk, if that's the focus of this film, you can tell it through a bunch of lenses. And as soon as he decided to showcase it via the plot and committed to that, then it's like he victory laps. Like, how crazy can I do this? And this is where I think Christopher Nolan gets all of the respect that he deserves, even though he's traded off a traditional, easy to digest film. Where
that's really
it's
interesting.
like he decides, I'm just going to make the most interesting filmmaker film I can make. And we don't have auteur filmmakers anymore. We have like Denis Villeneuve. I can never say his last name.
Villeneuve?
Yeah, Villeneuve, whatever. Denny. We have Denny. And then we have Christopher Nolan and maybe Edgar Wright. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then when you, Ren, I want you to say your thing, but let me finish my thought.
Yeah.
I just so appreciate that in a world that doesn't have a Stanley Kubrick or a George Lucas or something like that that is reinventing film and creating new established norms, because or heck, even the Coens, you know, like, or the Wachowskis, freak. I mean, with the Matrix, it's like they absolutely redefined film with the Matrix, and their other movies are debatably really bad, but the Matrix trilogy is debatably like masterpiece, you know. Just I have such a hard time when like, was that movie good? It's like I almost don't care if it was good or not. What I care about is that it would push the boundaries in a palatable way. It wasn't like David Lynch weird or Terry Gilliam weird or something like that. It was like, let's ride that fine line and try to be the new Stanley Kubrick. That's very different than Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah, that's really cool because he does kind of reimagine like the format for your typical war film. It's sort of like when we first saw 1917, I was like, this is the way all war films should be. Like, you know, like it's kind of doing like a completely different take on what we're used to doing. That's way more traditional in the sense that it's one timeline in sequence. But this, I had a note here just based off one other thing that you were saying. Like when I was watching this, I was like, this movie doesn't feel like a history lesson. It feels like an event that was turned into a film. And there are some like war films where they just have so many little details and it's so like intricate and so detailed in every line that they say in the dialogue. But this one was a lot of action, a lot of amazing cinematography. Dude, one of my favorite parts is when they're in the airplane. That part is magical. Like when the Hans Zimmer music's just floating in there, and then they got that camera mounted on the front of the plane, and they're just going into the clouds, and then it's on the left side, and then it goes right. On the right side, it turns right, and then you see the enemy come into line of fire. When that airplane shoots, I literally jump. I was like having a peaceful moment, kind of. And oh yeah, we're back in war. Like I forgot almost. That part's really cool.
Can I just insert? There's so many things that were beautiful about this film that were unique. Two things come up. So about the airplanes, not once did they show an enemy in an airplane. It was so much from the perspective of, you know, just like, that is an airplane. It's over there. I can hardly hear it. I hear the air whistling past my plane, and that's it. And it was it was like an object in the sky, just like a dogfighter would actually experience that. And the fact that that was conveyed through film speaks masterpiece, like as far as cinematography and direction in that. Similarly, you know, there's the main character's French buddy who doesn't talk.
Wait. Who's the main character? I have no idea who that is.
He has no name, and he has no name, and that's great. But Nolan did a really interesting thing with the script that nobody talks for the first 30 minutes of this film. And it establishes, first off, the fact that you could do that is really impressive. Second off, it helps you not be suspicious of the French guy. Because the French guy isn't talking, but if everyone else was just chatting it up the whole time, then it would be like, wait, why isn't the French guy talking? And so it allows it later, like halfway through the movie, to be a plot point, like, oh, he's a German spy. He's a German spy when they're on that beach trawler. And so, like, there are annoying things about Nolan films, but you know, every single thing is so intentional. You got the experience that Nolan wanted you to have, even if you don't like it. And hands down, I would prefer every movie was like that. If only I had the skill to structure a story the way Nolan could do it. I can always polish character development or something like that, but there's no one else that can structure a story like Nolan can.
Harrison, we were kind of talking about this, but has anyone created like a timeline and the events of each timeline from this film?
Yeah, I actually looked one up. And it's kind of impressive to see kind of the disparity between how much time is passing. Because like you said, we went through the land, sea, and the air and how much time is taking place within there. And to see it actually mapped out was really interesting to be like, whoa, like all that dogfighting and everything that happened there, that was really only an hour. And just to see it in a visual timeline there and see just this tiny little section that was that whole part of the movie, which honestly, I think the dogfighting and everything happening in the air was probably the most interesting part of the film to me because of how it was filmed and the feeling I had when watching it. But yeah, no, I looked it up and I actually had it on screen while I was doing my kind of 2 times quick watch of it before this episode, and it was kind of cool to look at that and just kind of understand like how when things lined up and what was kind of the moment where everything kind of came together. Just listening to you guys talk about this, I feel like I'm the one who's kind of crapping on the film, and I just want to make sure it's clear that I do think this is an incredible film that just didn't land very well with me. The one thing I will say that I think this film did really, really well is it really captured the atmosphere of this event and how it felt to be there, which was really, really cool. And I think one thing that you kind of mentioned this, Scott, we never saw a German pilot inside of a plane. We also never saw a German soldier on the ground. I think it really also is emphasized at the very first scene when all that propaganda is falling from the sky and he picks it up, and it just shows it's like, you're right here and we have you surrounded. You can't get out. And I've actually I've heard of propaganda being thrown from the sky. I've heard of things like that, mainly from MASH because they joke about it all the time. But I've never actually saw one. And when he picks it up and read it, I was like, whoa, that is that's probably a very intense feeling. Because let's face it, we're in an era where nothing like that is probably ever going to happen again. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And so seeing it on the screen and feeling, and having just a little ounce of feeling that soldier is currently feeling was really unique. So definitely huge props to that. And I think the fact that they never showed kind of the other side, the Germans coming in to invade Dunkirk, I think that was a really interesting choice. And I think it was the correct choice because it just added to the atmosphere of this kind of unknown enemy and this feeling of you having to leave or else you're gonna die. I really did enjoy that part of the film.
I had a hunch about Christopher Nolan's like just the details of the storylines in this film, and I was right. It felt really good to be right because I could just tell that all these stories were firsthand accounts from people who actually lived that story. Like, and you can just feel it through the writing. You look at any soldier and they all have their own story that could be told. And this one just felt really raw to me. But can we just talk about Hans Zimmer for a second? Because I put a vote in for Hans Zimmer deep dive because that would be fun.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah. Like I've never done like a Hans Zimmer like top 10 or anything list for Dunkirk. This goes up like top 3. Like I was riveted. I don't know if that's the cool word to use or the right word to use, but I was all in like the certain scenes in this movie, but to me, there's parts of the soundtrack where it sounds like Daft Punk's Steam Machine Alive and like Rollin' and Scratchin', like that like industrial, the pulsating stopwatch combustion engine sounding music. Like it sounds like warfare, like adrenaline. Yes. It was awesome.
Oh,
it was so good.
Such a good description, Ren. I mean, I knew who did this soundtrack, but actually it reminds me of, I don't think Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for Tenet. I think that was kind of like a big deal. It was the first movie that he didn't do. There's a scene in when they walk into like a gallery inside the airport, and the music is just like PVC pipes, like, and it's like super freaking weird and stuff. All of Nolan's films have these really weird soundtracks, and this one is so like underplayed, but it's perfect for every scene. It's just like tense and like ominous sounding when it needs to be. There's only like one like optimistic song right at the beginning of Act 3, or right at the start of the finale when all the boats show up and they're like, home, Kenneth Branagh being Kenneth Branagh. I want to talk about Branagh
Kenneth
later.
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like, man, is there anything worth feeling victorious about this? And I loved, man, I'm just rambling. I have so much to say about this movie. I loved that at the end in the train, if you weren't paying attention too hard or how these people would actually be feeling, it would be like, why does this guy think that everyone's going to spit on them when they get home? But if you think about it, like they absolutely effing failed. It's like they genuinely did. They failed this battle. Like, of course they'd feel terrible. And it's been like the worst week of their lives and stuff like that. But it was just like beautiful to see, like, sometimes people rally around you because of the hardship and not because of what you did per se, you know? And I don't know, there's just so many layers to this movie that I didn't appreciate the first time. And then I saw it a second time, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I was even less impressed that time. But this time, knowing what I was getting myself into, and then I think having watched a lot more films because of this podcast, I was really able to just let it be what it was and appreciate it for what it was and recognize how intentional it was and what it was compared to. And just going, you know what, I'm really glad that this movie is not what I wanted it to be originally. I'm glad that it's non-traditional. Although it's kind of interesting thinking about like the progression of Nolan. It's like he went from like unique films, and then there's good auteur filmmakers that make unique films and stuff. But this is almost like the turning point where he was like, no, I'm going to make a really non-traditional film and pretend it's traditional. And then his movies have just gotten more and more non-traditional. It makes me wonder what's the Odyssey going to be like. Tenet was freaking non-traditional.
Yeah, dude.
Oppenheimer was like, okay, so this is a movie, and okay, I wouldn't have told this story this way, but you did, and I still don't know how I feel about it. I also haven't finished it. But like, how's he going to do the Odyssey? Because the Odyssey is almost documentary-like to us. It's like the same thing as Dunkirk because of how canonized it is in our Western culture. Like, the Odyssey is so important to who we are in the West that it almost feels real, even if it's a fairy tale, you know?
One worry that I actually have about the Odyssey is, I mean, I guess I'll call it a problem in this film, is the same problem. Like watching a trailer for the Odyssey, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, that's Spider-Man. Like, I feel like sometimes he picks actors that don't really fit very well. And that actually happened in this film too. Honestly, I was watching and I was like, oh, that's Harry Styles right there. Like a new character would show up and I was like, wow, that's a really good looking soldier right there. And I was like, I bet we're going to follow him around now. That's kind of the vibe I got. And it took me out just a little bit and just sort of emphasized kind of the main problem I have with this film is that there's no characters for me to follow. And for some reason, my brain just needs a character to follow. I think it was because like a new character shows up. Wow, he's really good looking. I bet we're going to follow him. And then as you follow them, it's like, okay, I still don't really know who you are. I just know you look good. That's about it. And I feel like that's my one worry about the Odyssey happening again, is just having actors that just don't feel like they really fit into that period of time or the style of the film. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still excited to see it though.
I'm kind of realizing this in real time, but like, I think Christopher Nolan's a director that every time you see his film, don't expect to like it, but just know that you need to watch it again one day.
Yeah.
I
can definitely see that.
See the Odyssey, we'll probably walk out like not satisfied, but we'll know that I need to watch it again. Like, I'm just expecting that based on his history.
I'm just wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, I mean, obviously he's got great films and he's very well renowned. And I do enjoy like Memento and the Dark Knight trilogy. I really like those movies. And so it's like, okay, I know he's got some, but why is it that I have to watch his movies 3 or 4 times to actually really like it? Is it because it's so different? Is it because it's not traditional? Like why is it that the first, second, or third viewing just doesn't really get you?
Man, I don't know. I love that question. I think that is the right question, though. Like, I genuinely don't have an answer, and I don't even know if I could make conjecture. What I do know is that when we talk about like canon in literature, like Fahrenheit 451 or War and Peace or Stalker or something like that, you know, like just these books that have, it's like they're not arbitrarily great, and that's why we read them. We don't keep Shakespeare around because every Shakespeare play is amazing. It's because Shakespeare was able to capture like drama and stuff in and it's useful to study what they do. You know, Jane Austen, her novels, she captures like social dynamics especially from like a women's perspective in that era that wasn't really talked about otherwise. And it's managed to like make that more important throughout history. And so like she was so good at capturing social dynamics and the subtleties of that as like an early like novels were brand new, and she helped define what novels were, you know, and that's why they're part of canon, not because they're necessarily good. Some of them are, but some of them are just like the Count of Monte Cristo, like, or something like that. Like it's a revenge story. It's hard. It's kind of impenetrable, but it's also like, holy crap, how did you tell that story so well? And it takes a long time. So my point is that when it comes to like high art, like the art that will endure for centuries from today, the sculptures from the Renaissance period, or the Sistine Chapel, or the Cathedral of Notre Dame, you know, those sorts of like cultural art pieces, like what is going to come down through history and live through the test of time, and why? And I feel like not all of them, but I feel like Nolan and Kubrick, man, like Citizen Kane, you know, stuff like that. It's like Citizen Kane is not really a good movie, but holy crap, it is a good movie. But not because it's like fun or whatever, but it still is important, and it's still worth studying. And I guess like I almost want to make a distinction, and this is something that we've run into multiple times on this podcast, is like I want to make a distinction between culturally relevant and enduring art. Sometimes it can be both, but sometimes something is just the right movie at the right time for the right audience, like K-pop Demon Hunters or something like that. But it's gonna like fade eventually. I love that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But you know, like Spartacus hasn't really faded. You know, and I just feel in my gut, in my heart of hearts, that Nolan's films get better because you're ready to look deeper, and then they keep giving you more every time. And you go, wait a minute, how many times do I have to watch this before it gets boring? Like, it's like every single time you're irritated about something, or you see some new thing that you're like, oh, I didn't really notice that before. And it's like both ways. It happens every time I watch it. And like Tenet is the worst at this. Like the first time I watched it, it was amazing. Like I couldn't sleep. It was so good. And then I watched it a second time. I was like, this feels like a boring PS2 game or something. It was really weird.
Well,
and then I
what was
watched
I
it a third time, and I was like, wait a minute. It's still boring, but I also love it more. And like, I can't wait to watch it like a fourth or a fifth and just start to like really embody it. It's like, it's so hard for me to just give, when a piece of art can give you that much on multiple viewings, like that gives it a higher rating despite it not being my favorite thing.
I can see it. It's just interesting because you know me, like I read the same books a lot over and over and over again. And lots of times when I read those books, I'm picking up on all these foreshadowing and all these little things that happen at the beginning of the book that kind of resolve at the end of the book. Or, you know, you have a moment where you read something, like an event occurs at the beginning of the story, and then at the end it almost happens again, but in a different aspect, and you realize like, whoa, hold on. So this is kind of like a circle story where the beginning is the ending and things like that. And I'm curious if maybe if I watch this movie a third time, maybe I'll see something else in it that gets me excited about it. And I don't know, it's just weird because when I think about Dunkirk and the movie, I'm just like, I don't think there's like any like big foreshadowing moments in it, because it really is just trying to tell you the story of the Dunkirk evacuation and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Well, this movie in particular really doesn't fall back, but really, this is a movie that you should play loud. So I don't know how you were watching it, but like if you got headphones or a loud sound system, like this movie's hard to look away from. But at the end of it, I think that's where, I don't know, like you just, like, how did you feel at the end?
I guess I felt, it's interesting.
It's hard.
It's hard to describe, and I think that's kind of part of the problem of this movie, to be honest to me. But I think it told a really great story, and I felt like I experienced the Dunkirk evacuation. That's what it felt like. And I think that Nolan could do a really good job of being like, all right, my whole shtick is I'm going to recreate these historical events and make the audience feel that way. And I think maybe on my third watch, if I watch it in the sense of I want to experience what it was like to be there, then maybe I'll enjoy it more. Because I've said it a million times, and I'm sorry if you guys are annoyed at hearing at it, but like just watch the way I watched it the first two times was just like there's no one I can attach to and follow, and I'm not and be curious about where they're going to end up.
Like, I think one of the only times that there is any backstory revealed at all is the driver of the boat. You find out that he lost his son in the war, and that I really like that part. But going off of what you're saying, that's like the only character development in the whole movie that I can think of. So maybe that's why it was impactful, is because there was so little of it. But the one, I don't know, I thought that was really good. But but it is the one.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He was actually probably the most interesting character. But yeah, then there was like honestly the whole section where they're in the boat. They're inside of that trawler, and they're like, hey, we need to lose weight, we need to kick someone out. I was kind of watching and I was like, all right, like kick any of these guys out. I don't care. Like, I don't really care. You could pick any of them and have them leave. And yes, that's terrible. And I hate that they're in a situation where they have to choose someone to basically die. That emotional and it gave me the feeling of being there. But in terms of who these people were, I was like, you can pick any of these and it's not going to emotionally affect me.
In Apollo 13, Ron Howard he said something about why. Oh, why can't I think of his name right now? Not Tim Allen. Tom Hanks. Why was Tom Hanks chosen to be in Apollo 13? Because he's not like anything like the guy that was actually in the thing. And it's because everybody loves Tom Hanks, and you don't want to see him die. That was the reason Tom Hanks was cast in that role. And he did a good job and stuff like that. It just wasn't accurate. But it did give you that, like, no, Tom Hanks is a sweetheart. He's the modern day Mr. Rogers, which is why he played Mr. Rogers. And so it's like what you're saying is like this movie in very Nolan fashion is kind of cold on the outside. It's not about the characters. And so then what's your anchor for the emotional pull? You just have to care about war. You have to care about people dying. You have to care about the communal effort of bringing people home. And that's just harder to do because there's no shortcut. You have to honestly care about those things before you watch the movie and know that you're not going to get that handed to you, which I think is a really interesting distinction.
This is how I describe this film also. And maybe this says something about me. Don't at me. But this gave me the same feeling of, let's say I'm sitting down, I'm watching the news and something just horrid happens. Just something really terrible happens. And
like
they talk
day.
about it. Yeah, pretty much. They talk about it. They report on it. I then turn off the TV and I'm like, man, that was really bad. And then I get up and I go eat dinner. That's kind of what this movie felt like, where it's just like, I feel like I'm watching a newsreel and this is horrible. And what they're going through is terrifying. And the atmosphere that this film gives off is incredible. But I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to go eat dinner. That's what's going to happen.
Fair criticism. I think that you're 100% accurate. I think I agree with that all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so is one of the themes of this movie, I don't know, maybe I'm also reading into this too much too, but like, just because you survive, you may not feel like a hero, but to everyone outside of it, they're a hero. They're like a war hero. But if you're that soldier coming from home, that's got to feel really conflicting, which explains that last scene when they're on the train. And Scott, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but yeah, he's like, dude, we're going to get laughed at, or I forget what he says, but he's just kind of like anticipating ridicule or like that they were cowards. He's like, why? All we did was survive. And that blind man's just like, that's enough. Yeah, that's why I was curious about what you thought at the ending, Harrison, because like it doesn't feel great, but so many lives were saved or spared, or like it's just, I don't know, it's so conflicting, which is, I guess that's amazing because maybe that's how war is supposed to feel. I don't know if Nolan had that intention at all. Maybe that's reaching, but
how many veterans from World War II have you talked to? And if you have,
less than 5.
have you ever had them like talk cheerily or not be guarded
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
certain aspects? Like they just don't talk about stuff. I think that that's a really accurate, uncomfortable truth about war. I was talking to Allie and Paige about this at the Super Bowl the other day. That, you know, Allie just didn't like the Cillian Murphy boat sequence because
He hated
it was sad. Like it's really like
Yeah.
uncomfortable and sad and stuff like that. And Paige was like, yeah, the realities of war, like Cillian Murphy got away with it. And it was like the poor kid died, you know, and then it was like, is the boy okay? And it's like, I mean, yeah, he's fine. And he's like, okay, and he moved on. But the Cillian Murphy had already gone through hell, and he's this arrogant guy that got like super humbled. You know, you didn't see the event that made that happen, but you could infer it, right? And so it was like so many juxtapositions of, I don't know. War movies are hard. They're never easy to watch. The good ones make you feel like trash, and then you also feel proud of them, even though there was nothing good that happened.
Yeah.
It's like human effort, and you're like, yay, humans are strong, even though what the hell?
Yeah.
So would you say this movie is an anti-war film?
I feel like every war film that's honest is an anti-war film. But yes, I would say this is an anti-war film.
Yeah. So the Barry Keoghan, he's the actor who plays the kid who falls, hits his head, and dies. That part is really challenging for me because he sort of volunteers himself, but not in like a heroic way. He's kind of just like, he seems like he's kind of bored. He just kind of gets on the boat and he's like, I'll be useful. But he's not really, his heart's not into it. And then skipping ahead, he dies. And then he points him out and he's put in the newspaper as a war hero. And I'm kind of like, okay, he didn't do anything and he died on accident. Technically, he is a war hero. But that felt anti-war to me, like at my core, because I'm just like, dude, what was the point? Like, he made a choice to be on the boat. He did the right thing also. And he was killed in action on accident. I don't know. It's really hard for me to vocalize it.
I mean, I'm sure there's people who made it out of World War II or any war and probably have a similar feeling to it. I actually remember I was talking to somebody at church years and years ago, and she it was one of those like youth activities, like, all right, let's talk to someone who's been over in Iraq and all that stuff. And she got up there and she was like, honestly, it was pretty damn boring. We didn't really do much. It was a lot of patrolling and, just kind of went on and on and on about it. And I'm just kind of curious, I was, young and didn't really care, I guess, but I'm just wondering if maybe she has a feeling of like, yeah, people, thank me for my service. And I felt like I didn't do anything. Like I didn't even know what the point of the whole thing was. It's tough just because none of us have been in that experience. I've had that experience or even close to it.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, of course. And so it's just it's hard for us to connect to it when it's such a unique situation that I feel like none of us have ever been even close to feeling the way that these guys have felt.
If you enjoy watching our show on Spotify or YouTube and you want to be more involved, we encourage you to please come check out our Patreon community. Not only does our Patreon community get every episode you see on YouTube early, fully uncut, uncensored, and ad-free, but we're also doing Patreon-exclusive episodes, as well as Q&As, video clips, and access to our entire film catalog. It's a lot of fun and a nice way to say thanks for the cost of a cup of coffee every month. Now, back to the show.
When I was on my mission, I served my mission in Las Vegas and Carson City, Nevada. There was this old gentleman, a World War II veteran, that was at Pearl Harbor when it was attacked.
Oof.
I mean, we just went into his house, and his wife had passed away a few years earlier and stuff like that. And so, we went over and we were talking to him for a while, and he just told us stories about being there. These stories are so harrowing, and they're the subjects of movies like this. The war films that have real depth are the ones, like you said, Ren, are the ones that have truth in real people's experiences, whether they're portrayed 100% accurately or not. Like in this film, the main kid goes through like 7 different people's experiences, like all in one horrible week. And that didn't happen to one single person, but they're all, it's all based on real people's experiences, so that there's that reality and that truth to it. And the same thing with 1917. The director was, surfacing stories that he heard from his grandpa. And so it was very similar to this guy's stories from Pearl Harbor, where he was like, we're still getting bombed and everything. And the next day we were trying to go down and get people that were trapped underwater, like
Horrible.
inside the ships and stuff. They had their submarine gear, the suits that you put on with the tubes of air that went up, I don't even know what those are called. Lead boots and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they were just like going down, but then their air hose would get caught on a blasted out side of a ship and get cut in half, and then they just die down there, just trying to get people out of the wreckage and stuff. And I was like, you're talking about this so calm, but I guess you're also like 85 years old. So that was, 60 years ago. I have such a hard time with war and with violence. By nature, I'm an incredible pacifist, and I've spent years of my life trying to come up with political ways to never be in war again. Like that is just at the core of who I am. And so like watching war films is visceral to me, and I just feel so much grief that we do this to each other and have done it for so long. And I have so much preemptive grief for a theoretical war that we may or may not have, that my kids may or may not be in, it's terrifying to me, and it literally keeps me up at night. So stories like this are hard, and I'm always like emotionally charged after watching a war film, especially when I have like 3 seconds before the podcast starts.
Yeah. Well,
it's a fresh take.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's important. Like, I think I was telling you or Harrison this, I can't remember, but I think it's important, me personally, to show my kids a war film every now and then. Maybe like not one that's way over the top, like Platoon, where they're like overdosing on acid and screaming. Like, I'm just saying, like, I showed my kids 1917 because I feel like it's important to be grateful for what you're not experiencing. Like, that's one thing that I take away from war films, that I don't know. I don't think that's harmful to them, but I hope it opens their mind.
You got my stamp of approval, Ren.
All right, cool. All right. But
yeah, likewise.
Yeah, like we watched this movie and they didn't finish it, but like, let's just talk about it. There's that scene in the beginning where the quote unquote main character, he's got his head tucked under the sand, and you see the line of missiles exploding, getting closer and closer to him.
Bro.
Damn, dude.
And then it stops, and then the sand falls on his hair. And my 10-year-old, he looked over at me. He was like, that was literally insane. And I was like, yes, he's in. He's in.
Saw it.
He's in the movie. Yeah.
Like
that was cool.
Saving Private Ryan has that scene during the opening, like beach.
Oh boy.
Beach rush.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
When they're storming the beach, and then it's like, how many bodies are they just dragging? And it's like a torso with guts hanging out the bottom. Or like when Tom Hanks rolls over and he keeps telling the guy with the radio, like, tell them this. And then he rolls over once and it's just like a hole in his skull. It's
my God.
Oh, like it was just like so many scenes like that where I was like, oh, humans. That person had a girlfriend and a mom and a dad and a brother and a sister.
Yep.
And a pet cat, and that's it. Like in a blink, they're gone, because why are lives worth anything?
Yeah.
It's bonkers. No, the part that scene you were talking about, and the part that just kind of went like, yeah, that sounds about right, is the bombs drop, everyone stands up, and they just get back in line. Like,
yeah,
that just freaking blew my mind. I mean, like the logistics of war and filming this movie, of course, but the logistics of it just blow my mind. One hard part about war for me, if I was in a war, would be like, I feel like I wouldn't know what to do all the time. You know, it's just like that feeling of like, okay, I guess I'm standing on this beach waiting for a boat to come. Should I be doing something else right now that's actually helpful? That's just...
And not just waiting for a boat to come, waiting for a boat to come for a week. For an entire week.
And that
Dude.
boat might be able to fit me on it.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing about boot camp is that it would separate people that do what you do, Harrison, and other people. But I don't know if a lot of these soldiers had boot camp. So I don't know.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I want to talk about the time scales from a filmmaking 4-act structure perspective. Can we do this? Can we pull the Scott on this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So something that Nolan does is that consistently he has very structured 4-act movies. For example, in Interstellar, it's like everything on Earth, Act 1. Act 2, they're by the black hole on that water planet and they lose 27 years. Act 3, they're now going to the black hole and everything goes wrong. Act 4, you're in the 4th dimension. You know, it's like very cleanly delineates 4 acts. This movie is the exact same way. And so it's easiest to portray it from the week-long scale. So Act 1 is establishing everything, and then Act 2 starts when they get on the boat. And then Act 2 ends when they wash back up on the shore and then get on into the trawler. And so all of Act 3 is the trawler. And then all of Act 4 is them out in the ocean getting picked up by the small boats. What's really, really interesting about this film from a structural perspective, this is the puzzle of it all and the pretentious side of everything, the gimmick, is that...
Who said that? Why are you bringing that up? Why are you...
It's true. It is a gimmick.
Okay.
And it's debatable whether or not it's good or not. I think it's good, but it doesn't make it not a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
That is the auteur filmmaker making a film, using film, doing filmy things. You know, you couldn't do this in any other medium. And I appreciate, like I've said before, that Nolan is exploring what you can and shouldn't do with films by just doing it. He's experimenting, and that's pretty cool. I think what's really masterful about this is that he managed to arc out 3 different time scales that are told simultaneously, that also each one of them follows the exact same 4-act arc at 3 different time scales. Like, it's so crazy to me that happens. For example, you know, in Save the Cat, which is also broadly a 4-act structure, you know what's going to happen at the beginning of Act 2. You know what's going to happen at the midpoint of the movie. You know what's going to happen at the finale. Like, thematically, if you're consistent, you broadly know what's going to happen. And Nolan always follows those. But he also manages to do all these things where, like Harrison, I was telling you the other day, like, there's this really cool scene where, from the dogfighting perspective, his buddy goes down into the water, and then he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" He doesn't respond on the radio. "Are you okay? You okay?" And he's like, just checking up on him. And then the guy lands in the water. He sticks his hand out and he waves, "I'm okay." And then, you know, he waves and flies off and does his thing. As far as he knows, his buddy's fine. He landed. He's not dead. He's okay. Then in the final act of the movie, so it's like during Act 1, that's established. It's like he lands in the water. We know the characters. We know the events. In the finale, that whole scene is recontextualized, because then you're from the perspective, you're in the, or I guess it's in Act 3, because, and this is relevant. He lands in the water and immediately his boat starts flooding, and the hatch, or the window, whatever you call that, on his plane won't open. He can't get out. And so when he reaches his hand through, he's like, panic, I can't get out. Help me. And it's misinterpreted, and it's such an intense scene suddenly. They're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that." But that is also intercut with the people inside the trawler also drowning. It's like, how did they manage to get these things that were so thematically similar happening all at the same time and also be timeline consistent across those 3 time scales? Like, the structure of this movie is so ship tight that, like, in true Nolan fashion, like, it just works. And that's the only reason why Tenet works at all at any level, is because it's perfect. Like, it's so combed through that despite all of the other flaws, like, the structure of the film and the events is true to what it was true. what he was trying to do. There's also this really interesting side effect of when you have these 3 different time scales showing the same event from multiple perspectives and it's recontextualized every time. As it got closer and closer to the end, it's almost like all 3 of those time scales converge at the very end of the movie. And then you got this situation where in the mole timeline, the week timeline, that big ship hasn't been shot and fallen over and have the oil spilled yet. But you've already seen it get shot and have the oil spilled twice before. It's like foreshadowing of what's going to happen at that level twice. But only like 3 to 5 minutes beforehand. Each one. It's like they're kind of like pushed a little bit beforehand. And so then you've got this really weird thing where the sea perspective and the mole perspective are intercutting with each other. And it's the same characters swimming through the water at different times at the same time. Like they have oil in them in this scene, but they don't have oil in them on them in this scene because the oil hasn't spilled out yet. But it's only like 3 minutes later that the oil spills out. And it was this weird thing to go, I know what's happening somehow, but I don't know why I know what's happening because this should be confusing as heck. But it works because the dramatic tension of everything converged on that one scene. And you just happen to see it all happening from 3 different perspectives that are like 20 minutes separate from each other, each one of them. In reality, it's so crazy that Nolan could do that. And that's where I go, like, I don't care. I don't care about anything else. Like Tenet, when we get there, like Tenet, you just go, this movie is so impressive in its scripting and structuring.
Editing.
And editing. And everyone deserves a raise. And man, wouldn't it be cool if you could have the best of both worlds where it was a character-driven movie that was also structured this deeply?
Yeah, you brought it up, but where the hatch gets stuck, that made me think about Martini from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Heck yes. Part of the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest extended universe. Another one
exactly.
Maybe that's him.
That is Martini. Yeah. I want to say one last thing about Kenneth Branagh. I think Kenneth Branagh is ridiculous, but I also love him in everything.
I love that man to pieces.
like, let me make my case real quick. He is so affected in his like expressions and stuff. He's a stage actor. He's a Shakespearean stage actor that has made it in film. And I love his stage presence in every film, but he never fits in his films. He's always Kenneth Branagh with like this weird like energy around him that no other actor has. And it's like, you're not fitting in, but also he's so dang good at it that it doesn't matter. And like, it's like he was cast for this just so he could look with horror at the horizon, at the sound of planes. Like,
yes.
Or like close his eyes in just like crushing defeat. Like that's why he was cast in this role, and he does it so perfectly. And in Tenet, he's amazing. You know, like I just love everything about it, but I just like laugh every time I see him because he's just like, there's Kenneth being Kenneth, but like, thank you for being in this movie and making it amazing.
I wrote down, I can't understand anyone in this movie except for Kenneth Branagh. I thought that was funny. Also, he has like the he has the greatest, staunchest salute I've ever seen in any film. When he salutes to him, I love that part. Okay, and then real quick, we're short on time. I just got to say, another drawback to another episode of Spartacus, but I have to award someone the John Dahl Punch Me in the Face Award, and it goes to Barry Keoghan, the kid on the boat who dies accidentally. His face drives me insane.
Would you punch him down those stairs?
Yeah.
Paige calls him and other people that have that punchable face cheesecake face.
Yeah. He needs to drink some water and take a really long nap, and then he's got some.
Have either of you guys seen The Green Knight? I think he's in The Green Knight.
Ooh, I'm excited though. All right, so just to wrap this up.
Also, Harrison, have an opinion and stick with it.
It's true. So just to wrap things up and get to our slimy scenes, my slimiest scene is 100% the scene where they all finally get on a boat. They're all down in there eating a lot of toast and jam and drinking some tea, and that torpedo hits the boat. It tilts over, and just to see that water fill up that area and they're just trapped underneath there. I mean, I felt like I was drowning every second of that scene, and it was an incredible, terrifying feeling.
Yeah.
It just really, really stuck with me. And just the logistics of filming that also just blows my mind.
You absolutely stole my scene. Good job.
That's my goal. Yeah. In terms of rating this film, I think that this is a 5 out of 5 film that didn't land with me. So I mean, I'm impressed by so many things about this film, but I can't get over the fact that there was no one for me to follow, and there was no one that I really cared about, and that kind of hurt. It just hurts a lot to watch a film and not have that feeling. I feel like I need it. That being said, I'm interested in watching this film in a year or so with a different mindset and see if that changes how I think about it. So for me, this is like a 2.5 for me. And it's mainly just because of that. But it's a 5 out of 5 that just didn't land with me.
That's funny. It's like when someone says they hate Dunkirk, I'm like, I get it. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why I get it.
It's so true. Like honestly, if someone came up to me and wanted, hey, what do you think of Dunkirk? I'm going to be like, honestly, if you want to feel what it felt like to be there, definitely watch it. Here's a caveat. There's no characters that you're going to follow. That's what I would tell them. And if someone comes up and says, yeah, Dunkirk sucked, I'd be like, I totally get it. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't deny the fact that a lot of love and a lot of time and a lot of effort went into making this movie.
Well, the back half to what I was going to say is that you can hate it, but if you ever watch it again, it will get better as time goes on.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, I feel like that's like a Nolan thing. I don't know why. But anyways, okay, so my slimiest scene, if it's not, by the way, Hoyt van Hoytema, the cinematographer, he killed it. This movie's 100%. So pretty to look at. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I mentioned the airplane scene. That one's cool, but I'm going to take this one. The scene where they're on the beach looking at all the waves, and then they look over and that soldier just gives up and just swims out into the middle of the ocean. He just drops his bag. He just dives in.
You took my second slimy scene. That's a good one.
We're snapping him up.
I was like, no one's gonna grab that one.
That one is extremely slimy. Okay, so for my rating, it was originally rated a 4. I'm now up to a 4.5, anticipating that one day I'm going to be at a 5. But I'm not going to give it a 5 because I have some beef. We got to just mention this. I've listened to other podcasts and other like people reviewing this movie, and no one brings this up. So you heard it here first, apparently. The last scene where it shows Tom Hardy, he's standing there watching his airplane burn, and it slowly fades away. And then it comes back, and we see the quote-unquote main character, and he's like shuffling the paper, and he looks up, and then it cuts again. I hate that so much. I don't even have the words for it. Like that it reminded me of the first time I saw this in the theater, and I walked out so annoyed that Nolan added that at the very end. And I'm like I'm mad about it again. So I can't give it a 5 because I guess I'm dumb. I can't understand why he did that. Maybe one day I'll piece it together, but I despise that choice. And I got it off my chest. Someone explain it to me if you can.
I love that you said that. That's just the funniest, most amazing way to knock a half star off a movie. It's so good.
No shame. Half star off immediately.
All right. So my slimiest scene, my
is
third
it really your
slimiest.
Is it really your slimy scene if it's your third one?
Scene
is when Cillian Murphy asks about how the boy's doing the second time and he's dead. Yeah. And they tell him he's okay. And then it moves on. And I just wanted to vomit, but that was the most noble thing to do to somebody, is to help clear their conscience. when they've just gone through hell.
Oh, I
And
didn't even get that.
It's
Yeah.
just
Okay,
crazy.
okay. Quick question about that scene. So, do you think it's undercut by the fact that when they land and they're getting everyone off the boat, he sees them take a body off of the boat, and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
and then kill, and then like they bring the body off. The son sees Cillian Murphy see it, and then Cillian Murphy like disappears. I don't know if that undercuts it or if
No, I think it's perfect. I think
Yeah.
it lands exactly the way that it's supposed to. I think it puts Cillian Murphy's character in the most terrified and morally ambiguous position of war is hell. And I think
Yeah.
it's portrayed really well. And I think it also puts the kid on the boat, the blonde-haired kid on the
Yeah.
boat, it puts him in a really morally upstanding position for him to give that grace to Cillian Murphy despite what he did to his friend. It's a really hard part, and it's one of the most impactful things of this film, even if it sucks. My rating, Ren, I'm with you. It's a 4.5 because every Nolan film is perfect, but annoying as hell. And,
Yeah. Did you catch that last? Do you know what I'm talking about? That snippet of
absolutely.
I went and rewatched it, and it made me mad.
I've watched so the third Lord of the Rings film has like 7 fade out endings, and that's all I thought of was like, oh, you're gonna have multiple endings. Okay, that's cool. I did like Kenneth Branagh's line. It's like, I know we're officers, but it's either us or the enemy. I was like, that's pretty great. That's a great line.
They're like one random soldier that wakes up and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Just made me laugh. All right, so we're moving into our lottery. The theme that was chosen last week was colors, which basically means that there has to be a color in the title of the movie, and that's it. So we might get a nice little smattering of different.
Can I just say, I gotta say, I'm really glad that we recorded Dunkirk before doing this, which is what I thought we were doing. I'm really glad because now I can watch whatever we freaking pick right away. I'm really excited. All right, let's go. Let's continue.
Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna go through my picks here. First one up I got is Goldfinger. I really want us to kind of break into the James Bond movies because I really do like them. And it was either this one or GoldenEye. And I was like, GoldenEye's got a lot more nostalgic for me because of the video game, and Pierce Brosnan's like one of the best Bonds in my opinion. But Goldfinger, I think, is just I don't know, it's a little more closer to the first movie, the first James Bond movie, and it's just a really good movie as well.
Okay.
So I'm excited to talk about that one. Men in Black is the other one I picked. And this is just like, I watched it as a kid. It's got a really cool premise, and it's just a fun movie. Next one I picked is The Scarlet Pimpernel. And I actually swapped this out for another movie. I was talking to Paige about it, and she was just kind
proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I was gonna put it on mine, but I was like, I don't know if they're gonna like it.
What the hell is what is this? I'm looking this up.
Okay,
it's an old movie.
Ren, if it gets picked, like, the one thing that you need to know to have respect for it is it's one of the films that Batman's character was based off of.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, cool. This looks cool. I thought I was
it'll be good.
Something completely different. Okay, good. Cool. Cool.
The next one, the next two are kind of wild cards because I've never seen them before, but the premise sounds good and I've heard good things about them. The next one's called Red Room. This one's from 2023, and it's about someone, basically they get really, really obsessed about a serial case murder trial, and apparently it gets pretty psychedelic and pretty intense. So I'm interested in that one. And then my last one is a movie called White Heat. It's got James Cagney in it, and it's kind of another, just the quick description, a psychopathic criminal with a mother complex makes a daring break from prison and leads his old gang in a chemical plant payroll heist. And I was like, that sounds fun.
You got some oldies. I like this.
Yeah. I decided to go with a couple oldies there.
Harrison's trying to get into the bangers side of this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know me.
Absolutely.
only wins. All right, Ren.
Great. No, Scott, you go. Scott's up. I want to know your list more than I know mine.
All right. Number 1, Black Swan.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
I'm so hyped for this.
I've never seen it. It's one of those like dark, scary movies that I've always been interested in, but knew I would never watch by myself or convince Paige to watch with me. So I'm just gonna get my 2.5 brothers together and we'll watch it. We'll watch this ballet film. Number 2 is my guilty pleasure, Moulin Rouge, the Baz Luhrmann one.
Yeah.
It's like batshit crazy psychedelic musical. I wouldn't even say good, but I love it. It plucks all of my like high school thespian strings in all the right ways. The next one is the 1980s, I don't know what year, Red Dawn with Kurt Russell and stuff in it. This is a movie that I grew up watching a bunch. And I don't know, it's been a really long time and I want to appreciate it again. I want it to be as good as fine wine, but it's probably going to be like a Budweiser. The next one is Redbeard. I know nothing about it other than that it's on the Letterboxd Top 250 and it hasn't steered me wrong so far. So I wanted to try and get a little more cultured. But I don't even know anything about it. So we'll see.
You just saw the color and you were like, perfect.
Yeah, red.
I love every movie that you guys have listed so far.
And then my last one, I think I'm gonna go with Green Knight.
Nice. I've heard it's awesome.
It was between Green Knight or Hero. Hero was gonna be the one movie that was like all about colors, but didn't actually have a color in the title. But then I watched Green Knight like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I was blown away by it. It has like those Northman vibes, just kind of like morally ambiguous, incredible sets and costuming and cinematography, and it made me feel feels, and I want to talk about those feels someday. So yeah, we're going Green Knight.
All right. I got my first film selection is for the film RENN'S, 1981, directed by Warren Beatty. We got Diane Keaton, rest in peace, Jack Nicholson. I don't know much else, but I wanted to do some sort of tribute to Diane Keaton. My second film is 1975. It's called Deep Red by Dario Argento, who also did, who did Suspiria. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be really bloody, and it looks freaking awesome. My third choice is Emerald Forest. It's an 85 film, and someone just said it's like the greatest dad movie ever. I don't know what that means, but they go into a forest, and it looks like there's tribes people they run away from. It's supposed to be really cool. My fourth pick is an anime film, Perfect Blue. I've heard it's horrific and weird and strange and sexy, so
perfect lineup right there.
Yeah. And then my fifth is a movie that I've been kind of scared to watch, and it might get weird. So if this gets picked, sorry in advance. But I have Magnolia, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh man,
1999. Yeah, Tom Cruise in apparently a role unlike any other role. So it'll be interesting, and I'll never watch it unless we pick it. So hopefully we pick it.
So Ren, I have literally never heard of any of the movies that you just listed.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of excited.
Except Magnolia.
Yeah. Perfect Blue is the only one I've heard on that list, and that's a movie that kind of like with Magnolia for you. I'm like, I want to watch it, but I need someone to hold me while we watch it.
Totally. Yeah, this is we all have really interesting lists. Which is kind of the beauty of us picking this really unique category, colors. By the way, Magnolia is a shade of white, in case you're wondering.
I did, in fact, know that.
Okay, cool. I was anticipating you to question. You're like, wait, why is this?
And I didn't even have to learn that one from Pokemon.
Nice.
That's
perfect.
All right, we guys ready for this?
Okay, and then one other caveat to this is that after we pick, we're gonna watch them in canonical order. Yeah.
Publication order, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through mine first, okay?
All right.
3, 2, 1. The Scarlet Pimpernel is our first one up.
All right, cool.
That's gonna be so good. I'm hyped for this one. This is actually a movie. I feel like I watched it and I remember falling in love with it, but I think I also confused it with Court Jester, which I do love. That's another old movie that I really, really love. So I'm excited to see this one.
Is on Paige's wife's picks list.
Yes. Perfect. All right, let's jump to Scott's list. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Looks like we're going with Red Dawn. This is going to be our next one. That's going to be a good one.
This looks really good, dude. I'm really excited for this one.
Have you seen it?
No, but hold on. Let me look it up to see.
This is like a classic movie to me. Like, this is a really, really good movie.
Oh, yes. Yeah. This looks awesome. So Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen. Okay. Leah Thompson? I'm in.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, that's all you need.
All right, cool.
All right, going with RENN'S. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, God.
Ooh, Ren. We're doing Magnolia.
Let's go. All right, sweet.
All right, guys.
All right, so my votes. I'm putting one in for Perfect Blue, and I'm putting one in for Goldfinger.
I'm going to put one vote in for the Emerald Forest.
All right, sounds good.
It's 1985. It's going to be cool. Okay, Redbeard.
Redbeard?
Yeah.
All right, your pick's going to be Redbeard. Okay, I'm also going to put in a vote for Perfect Blue as one of my picks. And then I think I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to pick one from my list because I think y'all's lists are way better. I'm gonna put in a vote for Green Knight.
Cool.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised. It looks cool.
See. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
Is Green Knight Marvel, or just like a? Oh, okay.
No.
It's like a King Arthurian like knight tale.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, dude. I hope that it gets picked because I think you'll love it. Like I think you'll love it.
You guys are gonna love Emerald Forest.
All right, you guys.
I'm like crawling out of my skin. Let's do it. Come on.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is gonna be an uncomfortable month. We're watching Perfect Blue as our fourth movie here.
Cool.
All right,
awesome.
This is great.
I almost want to. By the way, I almost want to put Green Knight in and just do 5 because I actually do want to see Green Knight as well.
We'll get to it. We'll do like a roundup month where we'll just decide to watch Tenet, Green Knight. Like all The Shining. We'll just pick the movies that were like they keep coming up and they keep not getting picked, but we all want to watch them. We'll do it eventually.
That's a great idea. Let's have AI just tally each film that we reference over the past 6 months of episodes, and then those go into our top.
Okay, so Sandlot is definitely going to be in there then.
Videodrome. That's the only way.
Nothing Burger. That's not even a movie, but it's going to be in there.
Wait, here we got to figure out the order real quick. So 1980. All right, so the order we're going to be watching these movies is going to be The Scarlet Pimpernel in 1934. Then we're going to be watching Red Dawn from 1984. And then we're going to watch Perfect Blue from 1997. And then Magnolia in 1998.
Dude, we are going to go on a dark, deep rabbit hole together. I'm glad I can hold your hands. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think Scarlet Pimpernel is a little more hopeful, a little more upbeat. So I'm excited for that. And then Red Dawn gets a little darker. And then I think Perfect Blue and Magnolia are going to be like, whoa. So
yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be interesting.
And we're going to be really excited to do elementary school, direct to VHS happy family films category next month.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, that was an amazing episode. Send a link. I'll get going. Love you guys. Peace and good night. That's a wrap on another episode of Cinema Slime. Be sure to watch the next film before next Wednesday. We had a blast and hope you enjoyed it. This episode was a production by your hosts, Harrison Jensen, Ren Jensen, and Scott Shepard. This is a group effort, and seriously, thank you. Thank you for listening and watching us however you found us. We really appreciate it. Help us grow by leaving a comment, a 5-star review, subscribe, and share an episode with another cinema lover. Also, let's connect. Find us on Discord and Letterboxd for film discussions, reviews, and recommendations. Also, check us out on social media. We're always posting clips, film rabbit holes we're going down, and interesting stuff. And you can also show your support by using Buy Me a Coffee, and we'll give you a shout out if you'd like. All links can be found in the episode notes. Goodbye.